Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of Cleveland. I'm President-elect Tim Poteet filling in for Kevin Brooks, who couldn't be here today. We've got an exciting and possibly a lot of words to be said today. I'm thinking maybe a few questions, so we're starting just a tad bit early. If I could get our chaplain up here, Jimmy Harper, here he comes.
We will go back to the concept of truth. Is it the truth? This man actually spoke truth in an unhealthy way, as he said, "I may be drunk, miss, but in the morning I will be sober and you will still be ugly." But he did understand, and anybody know who that was? Yes, it was Churchill. It was Churchill, yes. But he did understand that a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its pants on. Sometimes we may need to rethink how we package the truth, because in my lifetime, Jimmy Harper has learned that truth spoken unabashedly will sometimes bash those who hear it. So let's be careful how we say the truth. So may we always ask the question, is it the truth? May we know the truth, seek the truth, embrace the truth, and live the truth. Let's pray today. Lord, we're thankful for your goodness in our lives. We're thankful that we're here today and can join with a group of men and women who want to make a difference in our community. We do ask that you bless our time today and bless our meeting as it goes forward. We're thankful that you're in our lives, and we're thankful that we can make an impact through a community, through Rotary. Bless our time today. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jimmy. All right. Sergeant at Arms, Matt Wiseman, and looks like you have an announcement. Okay.
I got two. Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of Cleveland. We're happy to have everybody here, especially if you're an honored guest. Speaking of guests, if you have brought a guest today, please stand up and recognize them. I know David Carroll has some special guests. We'll start with him. You want to come up here?
Okay, I have three guests with me today. On the district level, these are people, if you're in the foundation, you've probably had some contact with them. So our district foundation chair, Bobby Davis. Stand up, Bobby. From the Rotary Club of Kingston. And from the Rotary Club of Chattanooga Breakfast is David Sargent and his friend Dale Carney. And David is over the Polio Plus Society. So if you're interested in joining the Polio Plus Society, David will be here and you can talk to him afterwards. So if I had a brag dollar, can I do it right now? Okay, get this over with. I'll just go ahead and do that. So last week I was at the zone meeting and out in Memphis, learning my position that'll be coming up in 2025 and 26. And you know, I say I'm full of it. I am full of Rotary's information. This was something that I know we're going to be talking about, Purple Pinky Day, and this is just 4 little bullets I want to leave with you. A lot of people don't remember much about polio, but polio is still real in other parts of the world. So we talk about Pakistan and Afghanistan, 6 cases up to today, 6 or 7 cases, I think, David. And we don't think much about it here because we don't have anything. We don't have to worry about it. But since Rotary started this effort in '79, when James Bomar, who was the Rotary International President from our district, gave the first polio drops in the Philippines to immunize 6 million children, this is what our efforts have done. Since that time, 4 billion children have been vaccinated. 20 million people are walking and not paralyzed today. Our efforts have helped prevent other preventable diseases like measles, Ebola, etc. That's the plus that they have in the Polio Plus. So when they give those drops, they will also give a little something else with what's needed in that area. And it's also helped create the standards of public health care where there weren't any or very little in those areas. So that's the reason why that we still keep this polio effort alive. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Any other guests?
I have with me today America Wagner with WebIve.
We're here at this table. We have Broderick Hicks, and he's the owner, founder, and director of operations of B.W. James Jewelers.
Welcome, welcome. Any other guests? All right, we'll do brag bucks. Anything in addition to David's big brag buck?
I finally brought money this week. Last week I was going to cheer on the Vols, of course. Excuse me, Georgia fans. But again, I would like to go ahead and give money for the Vols winning this weekend. And also, the Pride of the Southland will stop in Chattanooga the Friday before the Alabama game. And I'll keep reminding you, if you want to go see them perform at the baseball stadium in Chattanooga, the Pride of the Southland, which we have 5 members from Cleveland and Bradley County in that band. So Pride of the Southland will be in Chattanooga Friday before the Alabama game.
Go Big Orange. Any other brag bucks? I know we have one announcement from Tanya, so we'll let her say her piece.
And just so you know, one of our grandsons is in the Pride of the Southland band, so yay. So I never thought I'd say that, being an Oklahoma fan, so there you go. This Saturday from 9 to 2 is the annual Whirlpool appliance sale. Everything is at least 50% off. There's no taxes. There's a 1-year warranty. I am not allowed to show you the list, but if you ask me if there's anything on the list, I can tell you because it's not a public list. But if you would like to go, just go out to Whirlpool. You'll see all the cars. And if you need appliances, this is a great place to do it. They're also going to have some of those KitchenAid mixer stands. So those are always popular at Christmas.
They work great and they look good on the counter. Lyle.
Last week of dictionaries. People have asked me about service hours. I'm clapping for that. Ask me about service hours. I have submitted and am submitting all your service hours for the dictionary project. So if you helped with labeling, delivery, or whatever, I'm pretty much sent it to Andrea, so you don't need to put that in. Taylor tomorrow, Candies Creek Friday, we're done.
So in summary, don't put in your own service hours. Lyle's going to do it. Any other announcements? And Copper Basin on Friday. So if you're going to Copper Basin, don't forget. All right.
Notice the sirens come on as soon as I'm getting ready to talk. So it's great to have everybody here today. Kind of want to give you a little update on what we've got going forward, which is great. Wade Rowan with Sandler Training speaking on Sales 101. Who in here is a salesperson? Only one, good. And then Michael Stone with developed.org. He actually came to the business owners only meeting I had this morning to talk about AI. He talks live with AI, and he's going to do that. That'll be October 17th. The Chattanooga Zoo's coming. They're bringing maybe animals. Yeah, Michael's shaking his head, but they are going to be talking about a new exhibit or an expansion of exhibit they've got. Junior Achievement will be our nonprofit 5th Tuesday on October 31st. Congressman Chuck Flashman on the 7th. Allison Pryor, meteorologist with WRCB, will be here on the 14th of November. David, you talked about polio. Brian Smith, who is a former meteorologist down in Chattanooga, now works for the city of Chattanooga, is a survivor of polio, and I've reached out to him to come and speak to us next year to see if he can come and do that. So it'll be nice to see, and you guys would never have noticed that in the weather broadcast he did, but he walks with a limp, and so it's very, when you see him in public, it's way different than what you see on TV, but that's as a cause of polio. All right, so really excited today to have our second coaches panel in I guess 3 or 4 months. And so we have girls basketball today, which is exciting for me because we have a state champion basketball coach in here that just got it. And I think he may have just got his ring. He'll show it to you if you ask him. And so with Coach Jason Rueter, 2 new coaches to our area with Bianca Hensley. Here's the cool thing. I've known Amy Guerin McGowan for a long time, and she brags just about everything. And if you say anything to her about basketball, she always points you to Clemson where she's got her jersey hanging. We have one coach in Bianca that played in the WNBA. So that's better than Amy, so I can go back and tell her that I know somebody that's better. And then Coach Paul Sausville with Walker Valley High School. So I'm going to invite these 3 coaches to come on up and take their seats. And then, of course, we have Steve Hartline that's here with us today. Everybody that's clapping, you can tell me how much he paid you after the deal. So we are live again on Mixed TV, which is exciting for the community. We were the most viewed ever Mixed TV thing. I think I just made that up, but 6,500, something like that. 6.5 people. This is true. All right, Steve Hartline. Listen, after he's going to cut it about 10 to 1. After that, if you have questions, raise your hand. He will bring you the microphone. That's the only way we can get that on Zoom. So make sure that you have Steve come and give you the microphone. Steve Hartline.
Thank you very much. And good to see Cameron Fisher went to Larry's and got a shirt no one wanted. So it's very nice. Okay. It's not good. I know. I'll pay for that. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Good afternoon to our Mixed TV audience, and we are here to talk about women's high school basketball here locally, and we know that this is a wonderful subject and a wonderful thing. There's so much interest, especially in women's basketball in Cleveland and Bradley County because of the great history. So, with that, we're going to begin. We have 2 new coaches, and then we have an old coach. So we're going to begin with seniority, but we're also going to begin with a state champion, Jason Rueter, Bradley Central High School. Come on.
Mike.
That's yours. So here's what I want to do. I want to begin, and this will be the same for each of you, is just to, tell us a little about yourself. Also, just tell us just an overall preview, how your team's looking at this juncture here in early October. Coach Rueter.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate the kind welcome. Can you hear me? Is it on? Is it on?
Is there a doctor in the house? How many people does it take to turn a microphone on? Oh, here's Lucy. Lucy to the rescue.
Oh, it's muted. Okay.
Well, they knew Rueter was going to start. Anyway.
Testing.
There we go.
There we go. Good. All right.
What'd you
Well, tell
a little bit about myself.
Tell us a little about yourself.
I couldn't get
We
past
do have a 1-hour time limit.
Okay.
And then a little about your team.
Well, this is my 30th year of coaching, but 14 as the Barrett's head coach. And I've been at Bradley 26 years, and I'm Coach Jason Rueter. If you don't know me, I recognize a lot of you here. I've lived here, came to Lee in '87. I'm not from Cleveland originally, but this has been my home. So when I go back to Kentucky, I've been known to have an orange shirt on and get a lot of ridicule when I go home. But Bradley Central's my home, and you asked about, I think the next question was, tell a little bit about our team.
Yeah.
Well, as you said, we won the state championship last year, and we won it in 19, we won it in 23, and those teams are special. But I've had teams. You learn this as a coach. Sometimes it's not always your best team that wins the state championship. Sometimes it can be just one injury, one play, one bad night. I was talking to some guys here while we were eating lunch, and we don't play the best 4 out of 7. You could have a bad night in the sub-state or the region semifinals, and you're going home. So everybody that keeps up with girls basketball knows that we've got a good team coming back, and we've returned 3 starters. Harmony Ware, Avery Brewer, and Kimora Fields are 3 returning starters, and those two of those are juniors. Kamora's a sophomore. And then those other two positions, we don't know yet, but we've got an idea. We've had a young lady named Malia Wilcox, who we've been grooming to run the point guard. We lost, sometimes we talk about who you got coming in. You forget about Sloan Carpenter was our starting point guard for 3 years and 5 games. So she started her freshman year by accident because of an emergency situation. We had a point guard tear ACL. So, one of my concerns is my team. If you know much about basketball, the girl who runs the point, she kind of has the keys to the bus. And so Malia, I think, will do a good job, but we lost a veteran there, and we lost Hannah Jones, so who both are playing at Johnson University up in Knoxville. So we have some big shoes to fill, but, I'm blessed to have a lot of talent. We have a girl that moved back to Bradley County named Tatiana Stovall. She's a junior. Some of you may have heard about this move. She's 6'1", junior. She was born here. Her mother used to be the assistant coach at Bradley Central before I coached. So she's kind of coming home. Her and her twin brother, I'll let Zach Carpenter talk about him, but he's on the football team right now, and he's about 6'7", her brother. So expecting big things out of Tatiana for us, and she's fit right in. She's working hard, and so right now, Steve, these are kind of the dog days. I'm not sure that my two opponents here will tell you. Right now is not the funnest time to be a basketball player. It's weight training, conditioning, and there's not a lot of reward. We're in football season, so right now they're working hard in the weight room and open gym, and I like what I see. The effort's good. At the end of the day, there's really only 2 things that these girls can control, and that's their effort and their attitude. Effort and attitude. After that, they don't get to make this schedule out. They don't get to call the play. They don't get to decide where we're going for a Christmas tournament. They don't get to make a lot of these choices. And right now, our girls are working hard, and I like, obviously we know hard work. We've been taught our whole life, hard work pays off. And I think these girls are working as hard as any former team I've had.
Well, and let me stay with you, Coach, just for a second, because recently, I guess it was the street in front of Bradley was named for Ryan Howard, who was a #1, is that right? The #1 draft pick for the WNBA, the Atlanta Dream. She has made us all proud. What did that mean to you, and what does that mean, do you think, to her?
I'm very proud of Ryan Howard. I made the joke, I used to be Coach Rueter, then by Ryan Howard's junior year, I was Ryan Howard's coach. This is Ryan Howard's coach. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Ryan Howard's coach. So, obviously, the best player, I can't, you're talking about a school with the most all-time wins in the state of history of Tennessee. You're talking about a school with the most state tournament appearances, 33 in the history of the state of Tennessee. Ryan Howard is one of many great players. She just happens to be maybe the most recent, and, it's people before her, they didn't have a WNBA when Liz Hannah played, or Dana Caldwell. So Ryan Howard has made the most of her opportunity. She's represented us very well. To have a street named after you is something she told me I never dreamed that I would come back to have a street named after me. She's very humble. She's kept herself well grounded. I give a lot of credit to her mother. Maybe the Barrett program had a little bit to do that, but am I proud of her? Absolutely, I'm proud of her. And she's making us proud every day when she gets all these accolades. But, when I drive into work every morning, I get to see that sign that says Ryan Howard Drive, and that doesn't happen very often, not very often.
Thank you, Coach. I want to go now to Cleveland High School, and we have a brand new coach this year. This is Bianca Hensley, and Bianca, I just met you out here, and I've heard so many good things. A lot of us have heard so many good things about you. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself as you come into your first season at Cleveland High?
Of course, thank you, Steve. There's so many new faces here that I don't know, so I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you all. And before I get started, one thing that kind of blows me away about being at Cleveland is the support. So I just want to say thank you to Dr. Dyer for being here, Director of Schools, our principal, Mr. Pritchard, Al Morris, our AD, and my husband, Martin Hensley. But a little bit about me. This is my first year here at Cleveland. The past 4 years, I was at Stewart's Creek High School, and when this opportunity presented itself, I was very excited. The transition here has been really smooth. Hit the ground running hard in June. Took our kids to various camps and had a really successful June. During dead period, got a chance to close on our home and officially move here to Cleveland. And ever since then, our kids have just been working. Just like Coach Rueter said, right now we are lifting. Coach Rueter has done a phenomenal job of getting our kids physical. And also, we've been working on our conditioning. Our goal here as a new coaching staff is to put our imprint on our program. We want to play fast. We want to create chaos. And so our kids need to be in really good shape. Our girls get up at 5:30 in the mornings throughout the week, and we work out on the football field, also inside the arena. And I can't say enough good things about our girls. This past season we lost 7 seniors. We lost 4 starters, and I know there's a little doubt there because we don't have any experience. But I tell our kids every single day, what we need here is our tradition back, and we need some dogs. And our kids bring that every single day. And we have some kids that a lot of you don't know, but I truly expect you to get to know who those kids are once we start in November. And just like these 2 coaches here, we start October 30th, and then our season is going November 14th. But a few kids that I would like to talk about is our seniors. Micaiah Westfield, she's a small forward, about 5'7", 5'8", and she's going to fill the stat sheet for us. She's long, she can rebound, she can shoot, she can handle the ball for us, and with how we want to play, she fits really, really well for our scheme. Callie Brewer is another senior, 5'7", kind of like Kaya. We're going to put her in pick-and-roll situations. She's long as well, and she can handle the ball, shoot outside, and can do it all. And then we have Kate Droke, another senior that we're getting some experience and some confidence, has really worked on her game throughout the off-season. Our junior group, Lauren Hurst, I'm sure you all know who that is. She's a kid that's heavily recruited, has a lot of Power 5 offers, and we are expecting her to take big leaps for her last 2 years here at Cleveland for us. She's a kid that can set a lot of records for us on the basketball side of things. Obviously, she's an outstanding volleyball player as well. But she's 6'3", she's versatile, and she's going to be our only returning starter coming back. We also have Emma Smith, and when I think of Emma Smith, I think of a blue-collar worker, someone that's going to get it done, someone that's gritty, that's going to give us extra possessions on the offensive end, plays hard, worked on her game throughout the entire season. So we're expecting her and another kid, Tamaya Tanner, another junior, to have outstanding junior years. Tamaya is a kid that when you see her on the open floor, she does a lot of exciting things for us, and we've had some college coaches come in and just blown away by how she has really matured and her game has developed in just the summer. And then our last junior that will get minutes will be Sarah Grace Latner, another big, physical, can set really good screens, does all the dirty work for us. Our sophomores, Ileana Rodriguez, a point guard for us. She's a kid that's physical, loves to compete on a daily basis, and is going to handle the ball for us. And then Tessa Clark will end that sophomore group. She's a kid that is a really good spot-up shooter. And then lastly is my freshman, Lainey Copeland and Izzy Smith, and we expect them to do a lot of big things for us this year. Sorry for the introduction for my whole team, but I'm very excited about my girls, and I'm here to talk about them, and they deserve that moment.
Well, but before we continue on, so you personally, tell us about your, Jamie alluded to it a second ago, but about your playing career.
Yeah, so I played at Chester County High School. That's in Henderson, Tennessee. Not that many people know where that is. Does anyone know where that is? Okay, so it's about 4.5 hours away from here. I'll actually be going this weekend. It's where Freed-Hardeman University is located. And then I went on to play at Ole Miss, so I bleed red and blue. We just picked up a huge win against LSU. So played there for 4 years, and then I got drafted, went to WNBA, and then played overseas in France. And so then I got into teaching and coaching and just fell in love with that.
Well, thank you so much. Let's give her a big hand. Welcome her to Cleveland. By the way, speaking of Cleveland High School, the volleyball team won the district championship last night. They're the defending state champions. And by the way, Jamie, not only is Coach McGowan whatever you said, which was almost completely ridiculous. But she is an ACC legend. I would be saying that every day of the week to everybody I could find. And what are you a legend in? I can't recall. Paul Sausville, he is one of the new head coaches of Walker Valley's Lady Mustangs, along with his wife, Sarah Sausville, who was Sarah Habermas at Cleveland High School. And Paul, you guys are going to lead this program together. Is that right?
That's right.
And you're planning on staying married. Is that correct?
That's right.
That's right. That's right. Well, I've known Paul a long time. He and I went to Lee University together. Sarah and I went to Cleveland High School together. And so, Paul, just introduce yourself for those who don't know you, and then let's talk about your program.
So I sit here 100% self-aware. The state champion is right next to me. And the only losses that the Cleveland Lady Raiders have had in a while is against the state champion right here. So I know where Walker Valley fits in this equation. But I do understand this. I got 7 girls who the top 7 girls that had all those minutes last year are back. So when we go to Rueter Arena and that beautiful facility, they're not going to be scared of the moment. And when we go to Jim Smitty Arena and all those banners and all those jerseys hanging up, much respect, but they've been there before. And so when Sarah and I took over with Linda Discavich and Matt Paris, I mean, Linda played college ball. I've got, and this is probably the most exciting thing for me taking over a program, is I have 2 women who know the game, who have been teachers of the year, who know people, and like I've been teaching for 22 years. And so these girls have come through my class. There's a family bond there. I mean, there's a bigger picture. You know, we were talking about, you know, when you coach with your spouse, it does change the game, 100%. If Sarah and I tried to do this 20 years ago, 15, 10, 7 maybe, I don't know if we say yes. But we're saying yes now because we're prepared to take over this program and just connect. Just connect. I mean, I've known Jason. I mean, I came to Lee in '95. He'd come to games. You know, we've been connected. We've had great conversation over the years. I mean, I married a Lady Raider. I was in that old dome gym early in the morning with Holly Rogers and, you know, doing individual workouts. I mean, like, I know these 2 programs. I know this community. I'm a bridge builder. And I love what basketball can be. That scoreboard means a lot to a lot of people. We now know that the scoreboard is important, but there's other scores, there's other wins, there's other life wins. And it's a big deal. But I know that, you know, the way that we're going to do things and the way that we're already doing things and the way that they've already described what the summer has been and what the fall's been, we're working. And we're grinding, and we know how this works. But, you know, we're coaching for an end game that's 10 years down the road. We were talking about this earlier. Just, you know, to see a girl who's played for you and to fully embrace them and to know that you have contributed to their life, that's a big deal. Now, we'll play Bradley, we'll play Cleveland, but right off the bat, pretty soon, we play Warren County, which is actually a big game for our program. They were the first loss of the season last year, and they were the last loss of the season. We play them on game 2. So if you're following the Lady Mustangs, pay attention to game 2, and we're going to find out how far we've progressed. We had a great summer. It's been fun. We've been in the gym. We've been hiking on trails. We've been jumping rope. We're going to visit elementary schools. I mean, it's just, we're excited. It's fun. How much do we take home? Probably too much. We're going to learn how not to do that. But there's always film to watch. There's always players to analyze. There's always something to do. But we know basketball. We're excited about this opportunity, and it'll be good. I do want to give a shout out. I mean, I've got 5 seniors: Chloe Poe running the point, Ashlyn Pierce, you know, shooting the ball, Jalea Lindsay, she does everything for us. Madison Bischoff has people looking for her to play college ball at the next level. Alyssa Earls. I love Walker Valley, where we're at the north end. We pull kids from other counties to come play, And Alyssa is one of those girls and just loves our school and what we've got. Sarai Cox and Malia Woods are going to come off the bench. They probably could be playing a lot of minutes somewhere else for sure. But we're going to figure some stuff out, and I'm really excited to be a part of it.
I remember I attended Lee University, and when we were there, Paul Sausville would be diving all over the floor, his face hitting the floor. He just played all out when we went to Lee. Let me tell you what's going to happen here. We got about 4 minutes, 5 minutes maybe, and then we're going to go to you for some questions. If you have some questions, I'm going to bring you the microphone in the time that we have left. But here's my final question. And this is for each of you. And I'll tell you what, let's come back down here to Bianca, just go this way with it. What does it take to build a champion? So what does it take to build a champion on the court we're talking now? What are a couple of things that come to your mind and say, you know what, we've got to have these things to succeed?
Well, it always helps to have a lot of talent too. But as far as building a championship team, number one, I would just say hard work. I know whenever I was a former, student athlete, I put in a lot of hard work, put in a lot of countless hours. For us, being a new coaching staff, right now we're trying to establish our culture, have kids to buy into what we want to do here at Cleveland High School, and I think we're doing that. Our kids are passionate about basketball, and they want to win championships. They see, obviously Bradley's had a great tenure of just being so successful, and we don't want to just win every year. We want that to be tradition every single year. And so putting our kids in the right situation, we have a lot of pieces, and as coaches, it's our job to put it all together to be successful.
Very good. Coach Rueter.
Same question?
Same one.
It's getting a little redundant here, Steve. Come on.
We'll let you do this next time. How about that?
I'd like to put you in the hot seat.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't get out. That's the problem.
Well, you don't take a donkey to the Kentucky Derby. So my analogy there, being a Kentucky boy, that's an old analogy, right? You got to have, it starts with talent, like Coach Hensley said. If you don't have enough talent, you don't need to be going out and scheduling every top team in the Southeast. But if you've got the talent and you're trying to win championships, you have to go test yourself. My goal is not to go 37-0. My goal is to win a state championship. So we've added teams such as River Ridge, #1 team in Georgia. We're going to Sandestin for a Christmas tournament. We're playing McMinn Central. You don't have to go very far to get your butt beat. We lost one game last year, and it was 40 minutes up the road, McMinn Central. So you got to test yourself. If you want to win championships, you've got to go play people that are good. And you may lose a few games. I'm not job scared. I don't think if I lose a few games, I don't think Dr. Cash is going to call me on the carpet. But you want to be successful, and you want to play good teams. Now, here's the biggest problem I've got this year. That team that won it last year, 4 of those girls are gone. Hannah Jones is not going to be down there running the floor like a gazelle, and Sloan Carpenter is not running the point. So I've got to make sure we stay hungry. Stay hungry. Now, I say water runs which way? Downhill. It's about players and leadership. I've got to get these kids to buy in. When you get buy-in, then you usually get good results. So we've got a system that's been doing pretty good. Could it falter? Well, certainly it could. Talent level could go up and down. We talk about everything else, injuries. I mean, I don't pray for wins and losses. I pray that the Lord keeps my girls healthy, keep us healthy. So you got to be good. You got to stay hungry. You got to have buy-in. You got to believe what we're doing, and you got to stay healthy. And when you get all that, then sometimes you get championships.
Coach Sausville?
Yeah, I'm just going to simplify what they said of just you got to take risks. You got to have courage. It's one thing to be strong. It's another thing to take risks and be courageous. And I just see that. We play a Warren County team that won 22 games, Cookville that won 31, Christian Academy of Knoxville that won 29, Boyd won 22, McMinn Central we've got in the first semester at 28, and the Bradley Bears won 35 games. That's part of our first semester schedule. So, and it's not an accident when you schedule games. Somebody had to put that on the schedule, and so let's go. And so I think for us, it's preparation. mean, that's the only, you have to handle pressure and you got to be able to give some pressure. And that's kind of been the foundation that we've been laying up north in the county, is that we're going to handle pressure and we're going to be able to give some pressure. But you got to be able to take some risks and live with that kind of courage.
We're also glad to have our athletic director, Bradley Central High School, Turner Jackson, Cleveland High School, Al Morris. And there we go. All right. Who has questions for this? Oh, okay. This is Jason Rueter's. Jason Rueter's boss has a question. Maybe you spoke too soon. What have you done for me lately?
We'll talk about losing later. So one of my questions is I watch all sports, but in particular, basketball is right in front of you. It's exciting, it's moving. But one of the things that I want all three of you really to talk about is the leadership that has to be on a team and the leadership that happens in schools with these athletes. And also the academic side of it, because I know there are high expectations for academics. So how do you create leaders on and off the court, and how do you focus on academics with them?
Real quickly, Dr. Cash, very good question. We talk about winning basketball. Look, we're trying to do more than just win basketball games. If you leave Bradley Central High School, been playing for us for 4 years, for us, I'm Coach Rueter, the head coach, yeah. I'm the head coach. Too much credit when you win, too much blame when you lose. I got assistants around me. I ask players, they were a natural born leader. You ever heard that? Not true. Nobody's a natural born leader. You got to learn that. You got to see that in front of you. You got to learn from the players. In our system, the older players pass it down to the younger players. You don't come late to practice. You don't miss. You don't blame others. You're never a loser till you blame someone else. Leadership is learned. And as you get a little bit older, the leash gets a little longer. Do you think I'm not near as hard on a freshman as I would be a senior? But at the same time, that senior year, I think you guys would agree, it's a little different. They're seniors now. So, you think it has to come from the seniors? It doesn't. You don't have to be a senior to be a leader. You can be any grade. And I got one senior on the roster, and she's recovering from an ACL injury. She tore against Cleveland last January. Nobody touched her. She tore ACL. So it could be, you have to understand, this game could be over in one play. One play. Now that girl's going to come back. Her name is Grace Phillips. She won't start for us off the bat. I don't know that she'll start all year. So you got to teach them how to handle adversity. Something's going to hit you right between the eyes that's not going to have a dang thing to do with basketball. It's going to be something in life. You're going to lose somebody you love. Something's going to happen. Something's going to just break your heart, and you got to learn how to get up on your feet and dust yourself off and get back at it. And everybody in here can probably relate to that. Everybody in here can relate to that. So leadership is a learned behavior, Dr. Cash. And if I can't control my emotions, how can I expect those girls to control their emotions? So I just said water runs downhill. It starts at the top, but I won't score one bucket. I won't get one rebound. My players are the ones, they decide what's our goal. I don't decide our goal. What do you want? They decide. You want me to coach you hard? You want me to hold you accountable? Yes, sir, I do. Then that's what I'm going to do. So it's a learned behavior, and academics, I'm lucky to have girls that, there's no saying that apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Most of my girls go home to a house that parents' academics are important. Unfortunately, every kid doesn't go home to that. But I'm lucky to have kids that go home, most of them go home to a mom and dad who academics are number one over basketball. And that's what we tell them. Family, I don't want to get religious here on you, but I'm going to tell you, God, family, school, basketball, in that order. That's how we do it at Bradley Central.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
I'm just going to harp on what Coach Rueter said. I think leadership starts with us as a coaching staff. Obviously, you want to implement things, but if we're not following it, then kids are not going to follow us as well. Just like Coach Rueter said, I think the very successful teams are player-led. I think there's two different types of leaders. There's leaders that are vocal. There are leaders that kind of show you by actions, and I think we have both, and it's a good combination for our team. We have high standards. I think leadership kind of goes back to culture as well. It's like what you allow, what you emphasize. And so I think that's why you put consequences and standards in place for your program. As far as academics, actually, I don't have any issues with academics with our kids. Our kids are really well in the classroom. They do a good job. But again, that goes back to having consequences too if they're not doing what they're supposed to do in the classroom. So first, they're a student, and then an athlete second. Thank you.
Yeah, our team GPA is 3.82, and Walker Valley has an academic program set in place for its athletes, and so there is accountability there. But I just think there needs to be an authenticity. We run our basketball program the same way that the four of us run our classroom. I mean, there is structure that is put in there, and we're developing them as people, and that is the highest priority that we can make. We want lifelong learners, and for all of us in education, I mean, that's what we're going for. Get your grades and get your good ACT score. It's going to open up so many doors of opportunity for you. But us as coaches, reading and learning and sharing, and I mean, we have weekly film sessions that include book studies and other such things where we're learning how to articulate, our thoughts and our vision for our future. Because, I mean, all the girls that we coach, they're on the threshold of adulthood. I mean, they're going to be doing this for themselves within just a few years, and for some of them within a semester and a half, and we want to give them those skills.
Got time for what, another question? Okay, one more question right here, Courtney. We'll come over to you. Sorry, Coach Jackson.
Thank you. So as a proud alum of McMinn Central and a former player of Johnny Morgan, Coach Rueter, also, married to a Cleveland football coach. My question is, how do you feel? I feel like the game has changed some over the last many years since I played. How do you feel like NIL deals? I know, Coach Rueter, you've had some experience dealing with that. How do you feel like things such as that, possible transfer portals coming up in the next couple of years, are changing the game for your athletes?
Well, the NIL thing, it's trickled down to the high school. And Tennessee's one of the TSSAA was one of the more progressive states in trying to get in front of that, and they said high school kids can do NILs. So most of you probably heard about our starting five got an NIL deal last year, and by rule I'm not supposed to have anything to do with that. If you noticed on the commercial, they had blank jerseys on, no Bradley gear, it wasn't done in our gym, so I had nothing to do with that. So, but I'm aware of it, and how's that going? It's going to trickle down more and more and more, and as far as changing the game, the portal, we've heard rumors that maybe possibly a one-time transfer is coming. Possibly, Coach, am I right? Coach Jackson, possibly? Yeah, we've heard that. We hope not. I don't really think, I'm not a big fan of that. You see, I'm saying a one-time transfer, you can transfer anywhere you want as long as you move to the school zone. But what they're saying is like college, in college you used to transfer and you had to sit out a year. Now they're saying possibly you can move and not change your home at all. And I'm not a big fan of that. You may say, well, won't you get more kids that way? I've had a lot more kids leave Bradley Central than has ever moved in. And it's usually, I hate to say it, it's usually about playing time. And I don't think that would be good for the amateur status and what we're trying to teach these kids. I don't like what's going over here with Coach Sausville, so I'm just going to transfer to Cleveland and not move and not even change addresses. That's not the intent of transfer. You should play in the zone that you live in. And I hate to see that coming, but I'm afraid it's 50-50. It may happen. And NIL, unless they put a rule, it's going to happen. And it's a shame that not everybody gets rewarded, but how does life work? The most talented players will get those offers. And I will say this, I didn't have anything to do with ours last year, but I'm proud to see that the person who made this possible, he included all 5 starters. I thought that was neat. Somebody told me we may be the first 5-starter deal that they know of. It's usually one person, It's one star. It's Peyton Manning or whoever you can think of. But we had 5 girls do a little flooring commercial for wholesale flooring, and I think it's here to stay. It's only going to get bigger. And unfortunately, some people get starstruck and they may make moves that's not always best long-term for a short-time opportunity. You know, there's enough money to make you move, but I haven't seen enough yet in girls basketball that I would want to move my family, you know. So I hope I answered your question. Okay. And thanks for reminding me about McMinn Central. I have Johnny Morgan's phone number on my favorites. The head coach at McMinn Central, yeah. He's a good man. You played for him? Yeah, great coach.
Referring back to the NIL, I don't have any experience having any players that have received the NIL, but I know the NIL will probably trickle down to high school quite a bit in the next few years. You see like a top 100 kids, 4 and 5 stars getting big time NILs. I was actually speaking to the NC State assistant coach, Nikki West, actually associate coach, last week, and she told me one of the things that kids are asking as soon as they come into the office is, how much money can I make? And so I think things have changed tremendously. That's just the world that we're living in. I just wish I could maybe get a refund check, NCAA. So.
Somebody put a billboard up in Los Angeles that said, "Give Reggie his Heisman back." Anybody see that? You know, so check that out. So I teach U.S. history, but I'm a sociologist at heart, and I'm absolutely fascinated by this. I mean, it's just fascinating. But like I have high school kids who go work construction. They make money while they're still in school. I mean, it's a choice that they make. I mean, these are kids that are talented, and they certainly have put work in, or they wouldn't be selected. Not that I feel good about that at all, but when I can take a bigger view of this, I mean, like it speaks to where society is, where it's been, where it's headed. So it's interesting of how it's gonna play out.
Let's give these coaches a big hand. Thank you to Jamie Kyle. These programs have been his idea, but I heard somebody mention the upcoming programs talking to AI. Look, if you've ever spoken to Mike Griffin, you've basically talked to AI live. Yeah, you're welcome. He told me I was Sally Jesse Raphael moving around here. Thank you. I guess you have to be over 80 to know who that is. Coaches, thank you very much. Hope you have a great season. I want to thank Gideon Ratcliffe and Austin Chadwick, who have made our television broadcast possible. Give them a big hand. I understand we got a lot of people watching. Thank you very much as you're looking at the Cleveland Rotary Club from Cleveland, Tennessee at the Museum Center at 5 Points, mixtv.tv. Also our family of radio stations, proud to be your voice of high school football, or football and basketball. All right. Thank you, everyone. I want to turn you back over to Tim Petit.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Very exciting. All 3 programs, definitely. Matter of fact, I just texted my wife. I said, you know, Cleveland High School's got a former Ole Miss, and that's exciting. Hey, cool. Anyway, yeah, I was, you know, it is what it is, and I'm going to wrap this thing up because we're over anyway. So I'll claim this as adjourned. Here we go.